Okay, just to give an overview. Okay, okay. Just to give an overview, yesterday we discussed about the quality stage, why we need quality stage and what are all four stages we have in the quality stage, and different use cases in what scenarios we will use the quality stage. So today we will start with the actual stages. Just to give you an overview, we have four core stages, as I think you may already know. Investigate stage, standardization stage, and we have two different types of match stages and the survive stage. So today we will start with the investigate stage. So just to start with the investigate stage, just to give an overview of the investigate stage. So in the name itself, we can see what is an investigate stage, right? Investigate means if you want to do some kind of investigation on your data to know what type of patterns or words or tokens which you are getting from your input data. So if you want to do some kind of investigation, then you will go with the investigate stage. So why we need to do the investigation on input data? Once you know what type of patterns or words or tokens which you are getting from your input data, so based upon that report, the report which we are going to generate by using the investigate stage, based upon that report we can come to know whether all our data is getting standardized or not. So if you want, if you feel some of the data which is not getting standardized, basically we will share all these reports, whatever the reports you are going to generate by using the investigations with your business. So they will they have some proper idea on the business, so they will look into these reports and they will suggest you if there is anything which is not getting standardized, they will suggest you um, what type of tokens or patterns we can keep for that particular non-standardized data. Then what we can do is we can go to this standardization rules and we can edit them, and we can whatever the suggestions we have got from the business, then we can edit the rule sets and then we can run these rule sets again on our input data, so that next time, because you already modified your rule sets based upon the suggestions given by your business. So once you modify your rule sets and if you run the report once again, this time whatever the data you have seen earlier in the non-standardized data kind of thing, that you cannot see now, because you already edited your rule sets to standardize your data as per the um, suggestions given by your business. So basically these rules, the reports which we are going to generate by using the investigate stage, we will share with the business and we will take their suggestions. If they feel some data which is not really getting standardized, and they will suggest us how what are all the things we need to take care of, and accordingly we have to modify our tool sets, and then we have to use those finalized tool sets on your input data to do our standardization or whatever it may be. So In investigate stage, as I told you, like reports, we have 4 to 5 different types of reports we can generate by using the investigate stage. Like I will today I will tell you like what type of reports we have the investigate stage and what is the importance of that. So in investigate stage, we will just do the like we will just generate the reports, and we will see them, and we will share the these rules with the business, and we will take the decisions on that. So whatever the reports we have generated out of the investigate stage, those will not use as an input or whatever it may be for the standardization stage or any other stage. So this is just like to analyze your input data, and once you have some idea like what type of patterns are the nature of your data, then accordingly you can take some decision if any of the data is not getting standardized. That's it. So we will not use this like the reports which we have generated, those we will not use anywhere like as an input for any other stage. But if you consider other 3 stages like standardization stage, match stage, and survivor stage, the other 3 4 stages, whatever the output we have generated by using the standardization stage, usually we will use that output as an input for the match stage. Once you are like done with your matching, whatever the output you are getting generated out of this match stage, that output will act as an input for the survivor stage. Basically the other 3 stages has the dependency in between the output which is getting generated by one stage, it will be used as an input for the second stage. But for investigate stage 2, other 3 stages, there is no physical dependency, but we can say is a kind of logical dependency, because you are generating the reports, and you are sharing with the business, and you are taking the decisions, and accordingly you are modifying the rule sets. Those rule sets usually used by the standardization stage. So before going to start the actual standardization stage, we are doing investigation on our input data, and we are generating the reports out of it, and those reports we are sharing with the business, and we are taking the decision. So internally we are updating our the rule sets wherever we need. So basically that is a logical dependency. But if you take the other 3 stages, those 3 stages has the physical dependency in between them. Okay. So as I told you, like in the investigate stage, we can generate different types of reports that we will see. First of all, let me design a job. I will use like in a file with 100 or 120 records of data, and I will read that data, and I will try to apply the investigate stage, and we'll see what type of different reports we can generate by using the investigate stage, and I will show you like in each report and how it looks like.
So there we are planning all are the files here from database also we are going to use in that is in quality stage input.
Right now files, because you guys know, right? You guys have already have idea on databases, right? Or in data stage,
Yeah.
how we can connect to the databases, and reading the data out of it, right? So instead of putting the file here, you can just replace with the database.
Okay. So do you have connected in Oracle in your system? So see, for example, we can see the for file because we need to know is there is like is importing from there is we have the different is a web application in the there. So how to share this metadata from there? So that also we
I
know
didn't get
little
that.
bit.
I didn't get that. Can you come again?
See, we have the metadata server.
Okay.
So so we need to connect to metadata server to share the as metadata.
Mm-hmm.
So for that reason, can you connect from this is database? I will discuss offline. There is
No problem. Yeah.
uh,
So now see, like, as I'm saying, like, we have different types of reports we can generate by using the investigate stage. So you can see it here on the top: character concatenate investigation, character discrete investigation, and in word investigation you can see two different types of reports: pattern report and token report. But in real time, usually, like, most of the times we will go with the word investigation. We don't need like, we will not use this character concatenate investigation and character discrete investigation. So most of the times, like, in the standardization stage, always the standardization stage will depends upon this pattern or what kind of tokens we are getting. So most of the times we will go with the word investigate stage. And then sometimes if customer need specifically, like, if they want to analyze something on their data, then, like, they may request us. Accordingly we can create this character concatenate investigation, character discrete investigation. For us, like, if we want to like, analyze, like, as a developer, like, if you want to see what kind of patterns and tokens we are getting, that once we have that information, then in the standardization stage we can see, like, what type of patterns and tokens were already defined in the rule set. Because basically we are going to use different types of quality stage rule sets. So what we can do is, like, basically we need what type of patterns and tokens we are getting from the input data. So once we have some idea, like, you can compare with the quality stage rule sets, and then we can see what type of, and we can see what type of patterns and tokens were already defined in that. So accordingly you can take a decision. If you see, like, any gap, then you can update your rule sets, and accordingly you can use it. So let the pattern and token is nothing but, like, token is nothing but, and like, the small word, like, which cannot be split further, that we can say it as a token. In other words, we can say small words, like, if there is no any way to split your word or whatever it is, then we can say that is a kind of token in the quality test terms. And a pattern is nothing but, like, here we have some kind of classification codes in our quality stage. So classification codes, again we have two different types of classification codes: defined classification codes and default classification codes. So that you will come to know once we start with the standardization stage. So what type of defined classification codes we have and the default classification codes we have, that we will discuss in the standardization stage. There I will show you, like, where we have already defined and all those things. So here, in the word investigate stage, we can generate two types of patterns, like, pattern report and token report. But if you look at here, it is asking you a rule set. So this rule set is nothing but the rules which you are actually going to use as part of the standardization stage. As I told you, like, while discussing about the investigate stage, we will run the investigation, and we will identify what patterns and tokens we are getting, and we will share this report with the business people, and we will take their decision. And if they suggest us anything to modify, then whatever the rule set you have used for that, like, to generate this token report and pattern report, you have to modify that rule set. Basically this rule set is nothing but the standardization rule set. So once you run, before applying the standardization rule set on your data, you are doing investigation on your data by using that rule set. So here you need to use the standardization rule sets, and then you have to generate the report. So if you get any suggestions, then you have to modify this rule set, whatever the rule set you use to generate that report. So then once you are done with your like, changes or whatever it may be, then you have to use that report in your standardization. So by that time you already done your investigation, and if any changes need, you already done them. So you can directly use that rule set in the standardization stage. So that, can you go on mute? Yeah. So in modern investigation, we have two types of report, as it will pattern report and token report. We will run the job, and we'll see, like, how the report will looks like, and how it will help us, like, in understanding what is the, like, classification codes, and what is the importance of this report and all those things. So but this character discrete and character investigations are nothing but, like, if you want to do an analysis on a column, like, what exactly, like, the types and, like, the data you are getting, and you want to run each character by character investigation on your data, then you will go with the character discrete investigation or character concatenate investigation. So in the character discrete investigation, if there is any sensitive data which you don't want to reveal, customers may say this is a kind of like you know um, security related information. So if they ask us do some kind of masking while we're generating the report and all those things, then for that we can do some kind of masking, and then we can generate the reports and we can share with the business people. So we'll see how we can use this character concatenate investigation, character discrete investigation, and word investigation. Okay, let's start with the word investigation first. And these are my input columns which I have given as an input for this investigate stage. And if you go here, it will show you the rule sets which are available in your repository, because by default IBM will provide few rule sets here. The same rule sets you are going to use as part of your standardization stage to do your address standardization. So here these are the by default rule sets which you can get from IBM. If you want, you can request them, if you want to do the standardization of any other country which is not available here, you can just request them, because you already have a contact with them, right? So you can request them, you can get the rule sets and you can put it there and you can use them. But if it is one or two small requirements kind of thing, then what you can do is, instead of going to the IBM, you can build your own rule set and you can keep it here and you can use that. So how to build our own customized tool sets, that we can see once we are done with the standardization stage. Then I will show you how we can build our own customized tool sets and then how to use them. For now, we are going to use the existing tool sets. Let's take the US name. I'm going to apply the US name tool set here.
Gopi, do we have the rule set for India?
Yeah, we have it, but we need to ask them. By default, they won't provide you.
Okay.
Okay, so here I'm selecting the US name rule set. So I'm going to select the name field here, and I'm selecting the both the report, pattern report and token report. So let's see how it will gives us the output, and we'll discuss about this pattern report and token report. And then we will go with the other two reports. First, for now we'll start with the pattern report and token report.
Can we select the more column? Like we have select only name, so other column we also can select now.
Here,
Okay. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
But the thing is, basically I'm getting name field in a single column, so I just select a name. But if you consider the address, you have the address tool set, right? US address tool set. It will usually take five columns, address name to city, state and postal code. Usually we will pass to one single tool set. So they, in that case, if you want to do any kind of analysis on your address tool set, then you can select address line one, city, state and postal code. Then it will run the report on those five columns data.
Gopi, how we can investigate on name? Address will be fine, but in name,
See,
can you?
if you look at the US name rule set which you have in the repository, if you go and open the US name rule set, you can see what type of rules we have. The predefined possible US names, they have already defined it.
See, there is India view the first name, last name, and middle name. So, in US also like that, yeah, something will be different. Can you explain about more? Is for is means how they will define the rule set? What type of
That,
the
that
rule set they will have?
that is what I'm saying. So if you go and look at, okay, let me open the rule set. See, the rule set is combination of five components like in classification file, dictionary file, patterns, overrides, and you are seeing right first name, US name, tables here. These are the reference tables. That means like whatever the possible US names, like you are saying John, John. So whether that is a possible first name in the US or whether that is a possible last name in the US. So they have already defined it here in the reference tables. So once you run your rule, the US name rule set, whatever the input you are giving, based on that, first of all, it will divide your input data into tokens. Tokens again, I told you right. Wha- Apart from that, you cannot divide the true that word whatever we can select. And once you see any token, you cannot divide that into further. So we can say it is a kind of token in quality stage terms. So what it will do is, first of all, the input data, it will divide or it will convert your whole data into tokens, and those tokens, based upon those tokens, it will come here and it will check in the reference tables as well as in the classification file whether it is finding any kind of match to that. For example, you are getting John David. Let's take John David. John as a one token and David as a one token. So what it will do is, first of all, it will divide your name into two tokens. One is John and second one is David. And it will take the first token and it will come here and it will check in the classification file or in the reference files also. If somewhere it is found, if it is found John as a first name, then it will give the F as your F as a token or F as a classification code for your input in one of the token. And for David again, it will come here and it will check somewhere it found David as a last name, then it will assign L for the David. Then at the end you can see F and L for the your whole name as a classification code or a pattern. So this is a completely different thing you can see here. Once you are dealing with the classification codes, you can see all those things. Here you can see right, as I'm saying, there are defined classification code. There will be few default classification codes. Here you are seeing right F, in the sense they have already listed out all the possible names in US. So they will, what it will simply do is, it will come here and it will check whether it is finding any kind of match or not. If it finds match, then it will give the corresponding pattern the classification code. Otherwise, it will go for the default classification code and it will give it to you. So wherever you're seeing the default classification code, if you want define it kind of classification code for that, you can come here and you can update it. um, did you get any idea?
If we are if we are passing a name is David John,
Mhm.
so it will correct automatically is John David.
It won't correct it here. That is what I'm saying. Here just we are doing the
Okay.
investigation. It will
Oh,
just
means
give you
it
the
is
corresponding classification codes. But if you
okay.
do the
Okay.
standardization stage or kind of thing, if you are passing last name first and the first name is as a second word, but if you are following first name and last name format, then what it will do is, it will convert it and it will give it to you. In the similar fashion for address fields also, for example, if you are passing both address line 1 and address line 2 in a single field, and if you are passing and you are trying to do the standardization, what standardization will do is, it will try to identify what are all comes under the address line 1 and what are all comes under address line 2. Accordingly, it will adjust your input data and it will give it to you.
Okay.
Any queries still? You are not able to understand it or what?
Yeah, once I think we will go to the depth. So
Yeah.
see, see there in USA we have the Indians. So if you send it some Indian is Subba Ramakrishna, there's something his name is there.
Mhm.
So in that case also it will be confused like which is the first name, which is the last name because there is not a that is USA
Mhm.
US standard rule.
Mhm.
So it will be confusing the Indian as identify that is first name, last name, middle name.
Mhm. And it won't do, right? Because those names you cannot find it here. What it
Okay,
will
there
give,
also will be there.
yeah, it will gives you the default classification codes. That again, you have the control, whether you want to proceed with that or not, because it will always generate you the pattern and the classification codes according to that kind of thing. So based upon that, if you feel you can proceed it, otherwise you can simply reject that record. That I will show you, like,
Okay.
how it is assigning, and how we can do, like, to divide that kind of data and all those things. I will let you know.
Yeah, yeah. That will good.
But for now we are discussing about the investigate stage. That too we are discussing about the pattern report and token report. So classification codes, these are the defined classification codes because these are the defined in the rule set. So for now we are using the US name rule set. So in the US name rule set, if you go to the classification file, the extension is usname.cls classification file, and you are seeing these are the defined classification codes, and there will be one more set of default classification codes that I will let you know. For now, just remember these classification codes. That's it. And I will show you, like, why, like, how it is generating the reports and all those things. Okay. So job plan. Let's see, like, we have two reports. We created. One is pattern report, and second one is the token report. So first of all, let me open the pattern report, or else let me open the token report. So out of this, like, how the pattern report was formed, that I will let you know. First of all, let me open the report, and we will analyze this. So always, like, if you are, that doesn't matter, like, from which rule set you are creating this token report or whatever it may be, it will always create three output columns. Even if you are using whatever the rule set, that doesn't matter. Like if you are looking into the token report, you will then also always see like three output columns in the file, that you can see names here: QS investigation count and QS investigation board, and the classification code corresponding to that. So the name which I have passed for this token report, that contains both first names and last names and initials, everything. Like I have got the whole name in a single field. I'm just passing it. But once you apply it, out of that column, it is identifying what is the first name and what is the last name, what is the initial word. How it is identifying means, just now I showed you, like I opened the classification file and I have asked you, like just remember about this classification codes. In that you can see first name. For first name they have defined the classification code as F, and for the last name they have defined the classification code as L, and for the initials they have defined it as I. These are the defined classification codes, and your rule set, whatever you are applying on your input data, that is able to identify the data. Whenever it is not able to identify data, it will put question marks there and plus symbols there, kind of thing. Those are the default classification codes. Let me see, like it is generated any kind of default classification code or not. No, it is identified all of them. And I will add my name inside that, and I will see, I will show you, like how it is assigning the default classification codes. For now, see, like it is giving the count of A's, how many times the A is coming, and 8 times it is coming in your input data, and the corresponding classification code, it was assigned as I. And you are seeing these names, right? So for each and every name, how many times you are getting, and what is the code it was assigned for, that all you can see it here. How it is assigning, in the sense I told you, right? Whenever you apply the rule set, first of all it will parse your data and it will convert them into tokens. Tokens are nothing but, like A is one token here, and this one is one token, this one is one token. So from apart from this, you cannot split this word, right? So that is the reason why it is considering it as a tokens, and it is trying to apply the corresponding classification codes whatever you have applied in the rule set. So right now it is identifying them, means, like these are all defined in that name classification file. If you want, just now I opened the classification file, right? You can go there and you can open that classification file and take some word here and search it there. You will get, like this value, and the F from where it is getting means the from the same classification file it is getting, and it is placing it here. Any queries here? Either Vinay or Shraddha?
Yeah, Kopu, sorry, I didn't get. Can you again explain this? All these three columns. See, there is count. Is what is count of this? Is a word count?
How many times?
It
Yeah.
is a how many times is going to repeat? See, there is a in first column there is a 8. So A is repeating 8 times, correct?
Yep.
And what is the I is for is a
Initial.
uh, class. Sorry,
Initial.
okay, initial. Okay, and for the second column is a 1 and A double D I E A D. So that is this call this word is a count is 1.
Yeah.
And what is the code of F?
First name.
Okay, first name or this is initial. Okay, okay.
Yeah, that is why, like I just opened that classification file, right? You
Okay.
asked me that, and I opened the classification file, right? In that,
Yeah, yeah,
all this
yeah.
I, F, L, and, like there are some defined classification codes. They have already defined that. So whatever the data you are passing now, that is matching. Like the rule set is able to identify them in the classification file. Then, like what they have defined in the classification file, and it is simply taking from there and reporting it here. So Anderson, it will go there in the classification file. It will check whether the Anderson is presented or not. If it is presented, then the corresponding classification code it will take from that, and it will place it here in the field.
Okay.
Okay,
This is a token report.
this is a token report, and
Okay,
just
okay.
remember this. Out of this only your pattern report will get formed. That is what I'm saying. First, you concentrate on this token report. I will tell you how the pattern report is forming there. Okay.
Okay.
So if you still have, like any other guys also, if you still have any queries on this report, you just let me know. Once you are done with this report, then I will tell you how the pattern report is forming out of this one.
Okay. Okay, I think you are going to add some extra column and want to show the invalid as a
That I will
put.
show you. First we will see the
Okay, okay,
pattern report, and at the end I will add my name or your name inside that, and I will run it, and we'll see like what type of classification code this is generating.
okay.
Okay. Okay. And let's go to this pattern report now. Yeah. So now if you look at this one, there it is generating only three columns, like count and like the actual value and the classification code for that. So here it is generating total five columns. You can see the first column is the name, like the name field. On the name field we are applying it, right? So it is giving the on what field you are running this pattern report. This is name, and this pattern I will tell you how it is coming. Just put it aside, and you are seeing the sample, like how it is giving the sample in your what I can say, in the token report. Similar fashion, what value is matching to this particular pattern, or it is giving it here a kind of sample which is coming to this particular pattern. And the count, how many times, like Charlie Wills are kind of thing, right? So how many times, like there will be two more also, total three you are getting, and one sample it is giving. Three is not like three times you are getting this uh, Cornell Wills, not like that. Three values we are getting which are matching to this pattern, because right now this is concentrating on the pattern report. So there are three words, or like there are three names which are matching to this particular pattern. That count you are seeing it here, and the percentage
It means
means
three
it,
record.
yeah,
Sorry,
three
it means
records.
three record.
Yeah, you
Okay.
can say three records, and it is giving the corresponding percentage. It is again like the calculation out of this 26 or whatever it may be, and what is the percentage of that. That is calculating the percentage out of that. And this thing is like the main thing for us, like how it is forming the pattern. For example, let's take this word. First of all, try to understand this one, how it is giving ff. First of all, like if you go and look at the token report, Betty you can see there, and Johnson you can see there in your token report. There, like for Betty it is assigning as f, and Johnson is assigning f. Simply in the token report, in the pattern report, it is clubbing those two words and it is giving it here ff. Okay. And if you look at this one, and if you look at this one, and if you look at this one also, how it is identifying is like if you go and look at the token report, in the token report, like for dr it may assign it as p, and for William it may give it as f, and for m it may give it as I, and for Thomas it may give it as f in the token report. Simply in the pattern report it's simply clubbing them and it giving it here.
So Gopi, if I'll talk about the count, so in our
Mhm.
pattern report, the count is
Mhm.
about the pattern, how many number of names that are matching to that particular pattern, right?
Mhm.
And if I'll talk about the token report, then in that QS investigation count would be
Mhm.
how many times that word, that particular word is repeated, right?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm. Yeah. So here, when you're seeing, right, some question marks, right? These are the default classification codes, right? So we open the token report. There we have seen only 100 records, it seems. Let me go to the token report and I will take the full volume. I think you may get these question marks there also. And then, like you can come here, you can see why it is assigned the question marks. So first of all, why it is going to the question marks, that is the point here. So because, like I have opened the classification files and you have seen some kind of classification codes, but in this file might be these two words are not presented. So if it is not presented, then it cannot able to give you the the defined classification code for that, because you didn't define these two words inside that classification file. Then it will go for the default classification codes. Default classification codes are nothing but whenever the rule set is not able to identify as a defined classification code for that particular word or token, it will go for the default classification codes. There are around 8 to 10 default classification codes across the quality stage. So it will go to those default classification codes, it will apply that. Okay. Can I?
Um, so just for that is the count. So the total count will be is same as the input count, and this complete is that is the INB count will be same.
Yeah, I will go to this.
Okay. So for question mark, there if we'll modify the file, can we modify that file? Is so
No,
we
we
can
have.
add this name and
Yeah, you want me modify the classification file and you want me add these two words there.
yes. So
Yeah,
we
the
can
thing
see
is
the
for
different
that
code for that.
again, yeah, we cannot directly go ahead and we cannot directly modify your existed rule sets. So again, you need to take a copy of that and again you need to modify that. So that I will show you. Let me take these two report words.
Gopi, how you identify because there is so many US name is there. So which file we need to modify?
The one which you are seeing in the red color, right? SCT.
Okay.
That is the
So it
main
means
file,
this.
and whatever the other
Sorry.
see, these are all like any internal what I can say files which will be used by this file, this set. So the final thing is SCT, and then all other things are internally will be used by this. So once you copy it here, you are seeing right, all the internal files also get copied here.
Okay.
First of all, check for that word. That is why it is giving the default classification code.
Why you written two times?
This is again completely quality stage rules pattern that we will come to know once we are discussing with the rules. What we can say is like in a two in single terms, this is your incoming data and how you want it. Okay. See, this is your incoming data. If you want to present it in a different way, you can modify it here, and accordingly you have to edit there, and you can see that value there here, whatever the value you are giving it. Yeah. So basically, this
Okay.
will map your input data, and this is your outcome, and this is the classification code.
Okay. I think second one is not a first name. It will be the as different.
I am just giving for our purpose. If you want, I can
Okay.
modify it also.
Okay. Okay.
You want like this?
And Gopi, can you please remove one L from the output, how we want it in the output, so that it can also be clear, like we are passing it as a double L in input and it's giving us in the output as single L.
My system is not working. One moment. So whenever you're done with your changes, you have to do this provisional. Then it's a kind of a compilation. Like once you're done with the your job, you will just go to the compile and then we will run it, right? In the similar fashion, whenever you done any kind of changes to your rule set, first you have to do the provisional, and then the tool set will be ready for use. Otherwise, it will throw some kind of exceptions when you run your rule set. Here, my rule set is copy of US name rule set.
I think it's in upper file in sequential file 3.
No, if once it is presented in the token report, then only it will come there, right? So I'm just checking the token report whether that value is able to identify it here or not.
Okay.
I think here you're seeing, right? Second one, kernel, and it is giving L. That's what, right, we defined there. Your input data.
Yeah, Gopi, but why it's coming as double L here?
No,
Because we have specified single L in the output.
that you will see in the standardization report. Right now we are doing the standardization. We are just doing the investigation. The investigation always concentrate
Okay,
on your input data, whether it is able to identify your input data in the file or not. That is what the investigation will do. In
okay,
the standardization report will take the out the other word which we specified in that, and then it will give
okay,
it there. So that is standardization. That is what the standardization, right? Basically, even if you are getting any spell mistakes in your input data, if you want to correct them, you can specify in the classification file. Once you are done with the standardization, you will get the standardization output, right? That will, in the standardization
okay,
output, you will not see the input data. You will see the
okay. Yeah,
standardized
got
data.
it.
Yeah.
So basically in investigation, it will just take the input things and output things we'll see in the
Right.
standardization.
That's it. That is
Okay,
what the investigation. The investigation is always concentrated on your input data, not on the standardized data. And then it will correspondingly whether it is able to identify it or not, just it will give you a kind of representation to you here. That's it. So when you're seeing, right, I just added a kernel or whatever it may be, you're seeing L here, right? Because that's what we
Yeah.
have given. And the other thing is, will might be we have taken only 100 lines it seems to display. Yeah, that is fine. Okay, let's go to this report and we will see it here. You're seeing, right? Vinay?
Yeah. Yes, yes, we can try. LF.
Yeah. This is how this pattern and token report. This same thing you will do in real time also. Once you are done with your report, you will simply share this report to your business and your PS or whoever is the right persons. You will sit with them. They will analyze this report and because do one thing like you don't run this kind of investigation report on whole set of data. You may have millions and kind of data, right? Don't run on the millions of data, and you have to run it on specific sets, set by set kind of thing. And then you need to share this report and they will tell you what are the suggestions. Once you are done with those changes, then only go for the next set kind of thing. Around you need to run multiple times to identify or to analyze your input data, whether it is getting standardized or not by using registered rule set or not. Once you are done with that, then only go for the standardization. And that too, what I'm saying is don't run in the investigation report on whole set of data. You cannot able to understand it, you cannot able to analyze it properly also. So take some set and run it and take the report data and discuss them, take the suggestions and update it, and according that is the process, the standard process. Okay.
So what limit we can set for as an input? Like is it 1,000 record? Is it
No,
10,000, 1,000,000?
there is no limit. I'm saying, but for your purpose, you can take 1,000 records or 2,000 records and try to analyze it, and take it out the report and send it to your business. If you run 1 lakh records, that will be very difficult even for you also to identify or to analyze it, right?
Yes, yes.
So take
Yeah,
some
yeah,
limit.
correct.
There is no limit you have to pass only 1,000 records, only 2,000 records. But for our analysis purpose, I'm saying just keep some limit and try to run it and take the results out and share with business and take some decision on that.
There is report means this file we need to share with, correct?
Sorry, can you come again?
For as a report, it means this output file we need to share it with the
Yeah, this will
client.
be very
Okay.
helpful for them. Even if you share the token report also, they cannot able to understand it. But that will help you to understand what are our tokens are not identified by that particular thing. Here also you can
Yes.
see it here, but you can see the proper data also. It will be easy for them to identify. Okay, wherever it is saying wherever they are seeing any pattern, apart from alphabets, so there is some some action needs to be taken. Like in question marks, they are saying, and these two are this is the rule set which you are using that is not able to standardize it. Then they suggest put for brown, put it as F kind of thing. Then once you update the classification file, then automatically the pattern will get changed, and whatever the pattern action statements are available for this particular pattern in the standardization, then it will execute those pattern action statements. These pattern action statements again entirely different from the investigate stage. Those are purely in the standardization stage. When we are discussing that, we will see that. For now, this is how the pattern report will looks like, token report will looks like, and these are in pattern report you can see 5 columns. In the token report you can see 3 columns. Okay.
Okay.
Then it,
Do we have any way? So suppose there is 1,000 record of the output. So just we want to that is investi investigation pattern is question mark. So that only we want to. Suppose 1,000 is coming, the 500 will be valid, and 500 is invalid. So just we want to as populate as a 500 is invalid 500 like as a filter. Can we is
you
do
can
it?
put any transformer and you can check is alpha kind of
Okay.
thing and you can take it now, because
Okay,
that is
okay,
what I'm saying.
okay. For next one,
Yeah,
next
you
job
can
we can
put
do
it
it.
next time,
Good.
you can do that, right? Because until unless if you don't do investigation, you cannot able to identify it, right? Whether that particular word or token is identified or not identified. So here
Okay,
in the same
after.
job only, you
Mhm.
can put transformer and you can check it and you can take it. What I'm
Okay,
saying.
okay, okay. Got it, got
Quality
it,
stage,
got it. Thanks.
don't consider it as a separate tool or separate component kind of thing, because this is in the data stage
Mm-hmm.
only. You just using one palette.
Mm-hmm.
Like see here we have different categories, right? Like in databases, files, and
Mm-hmm.
processing. Whenever you're using any kind of data stage job, what we are doing, to read the data. If it is database, you will go for the database and we will take it here. And if it is file, we will go and take it here. And if you want to do any kind of processing, you will go and take some component here, right? The similar fashion, if you want to read, I have used the data stage component only, right? File.
Hmm.
And to write the data, I'm using again a data stage component. In between, I want to, instead of doing any kind of transformation, like by using the transformer or filter or whatever it may be, I want to do the quality stuff. So that is a reason I went for this quality data quality palette. I have taken the investigate stage here. That's it. So always, the quality stage, without using the data stage components, that won't be possible to complete any job. You have to read the data, you have to go for the data stage components. If you want to write the data, you have to go for the data stage components. In between, if you want to do any kind of transformations, put whatever the stages you want, like a transformer, filter, aggregator, whatever you need, you can put it there according to your requirement, and you can use it. There is no restriction
Alright.
in quality
Yeah.
stage. Okay. So this is the, investigate stage. Only two reports we have discussed: word investigation in this pattern report and token report. Again, here lot of options which we need to analyze. So these
Uh,
things we will see it later, and tomorrow, this is almost all
uh,
eight.
Gopi, Gopi, sorry. Can you please change the as a, input is your name and it will show it is incorrect.
Yeah, that is what you have seen here, right, in the report. Even without adding my name also, for kernel or weeks or whatever it may be, you are seeing, right, that is giving the
Okay, yeah,
question
yeah.
marks. In the similar fashion, if I give my name also, it will give question marks only, right?
Okay.
I'm saying without adding my name also, you are seeing that question marks and all those things, right? Or if you want to still add my name.
No, no. See, you told that is all are the valid in the that is the bulk something in sequential file 4.
Mhm.
So that time means everything are the valid. So you want to
No,
show
it
the
is not a
invalid. So
valid.
in
It is not a valid. That is what I'm saying. Go and look at the data.
okay, this question mark is
Yeah,
invalid.
question
Or
mark means that is an indication to you that the quality stage rule set is not able to identify them. That is an invalid for you, right? If you want,
okay,
you
yeah.
can edit it, or
Hmm.
else, what in standardization what will happen is, if there is any specific pattern for that, it will go for that particular pattern and it will execute the corresponding action statements. If that is your input data is not matching to any pattern in the standardization, they will already define some default pattern or default action statements. It will directly go to the default action statements and it will execute it. Okay.
Okay,
So here for you, the question marks, in the sense it is not able to identify it. So whenever it is properly able to identify, you can see like this.
yeah.
Okay.
For
Even if I add,
investigate for question mark. Yeah.
yeah, even if I add my name also, you can see question marks only. Even if you add your name also, you can see question marks there, because those names were not defined in that classification file. Okay. So
Okay.
the other advanced options, whatever we have here in the pattern report or token report, along with that, the other two reports we have here, right, concatenation report and character discrete report. These reports we will discuss tomorrow. And then if time permits, then we can start with the standardization stage. Before going to the standardization stage, there is some prerequisites, you should know about few things that we will discuss. At least we will try to cover till that point tomorrow, and from Monday we will start with the, the standardization stage, the actual standardization stage component. Okay, if need, tomorrow I will take another 20 to 25 minutes and extra, usually we plan for 1 hour, right? So I will take another 16, 20 minutes or 25 minutes, and I will try to complete all that stuff. So from Monday onwards, we can start with the actual job designs and how the standardization will work and how the standardization report will look like, and all those things. Okay.
Okay.